Hello basketball coaches and basketball players, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to talk to you about the 3-1-1 full court press defense. Now, I should give you a small quick disclaimer saying that when I was coaching, my first year being a head coach, I got made fun of for running this press defense. The reason is a lot of coaches think that it's just easy to bomb the ball down court if you're running this press. But now there's a ton of high-level high school teams here in Hamilton running this defense. Now, check out this defense. It's absolutely fantastic. The idea behind it is that you just cannot even get the ball inbounded to your players. Let's get down to the clipboard. Let's check this out.
Okay, so first, what we're going to be having is player 1 and 2 guarding this side of the court, while player 3 is guarding the offside. Now, it would be the same idea. If player 3 blue was on that side, we would just have players 1 and 3 on that side and player 2 guarding the offside. Now, if player 3 was to run back and forth, player 1 follows player 3. He's not going to be right up on him. He's going to be on this side of the rim because we're not really too worried about being up close because that's doing nothing. Now, with player 3 running back and forth, if he runs over to this side, it's going to be players 1 and 2, and 3 will be on the offside. Now, really quickly, what we're going to be having is player 4. He is going to be guarding, essentially, this whole mid-section. Free throw line extended a couple of feet up north and south of it. Now, what we're going to be looking at is if the ball is on this side, player 4 is going to be sneaking down towards the free throw line, and we're going to be having player 5 kind of cover this side of the court. Again, if they really want to do that long pass, we're going to have 2 players who are going to be able to pick that off. So I'm not too worried about the long pass. Now, going from there, if the ball does get inbounded past these 2 players to somebody like player 1, player 4 is going to be defending him right away. Player 3 is going to be going up and defending whichever player is in this area over here. We're going to have player 1 defending the inbounds player. The reason why we want to do this is because a lot of teams will have it so that when this player gets the ball, player 3 runs inbound, and that way they can reverse the ball. Well, if we have a player playing tight on that man, that's not going to happen. So now we're going to be having player 2 and 4 double teaming. If he hasn't picked up the ball yet, they're going to be on each side of them with their hands up. Now, with their hands up, what we're hoping for now is for there to be 0 passes out of that and for it to be a quick turnover. If player 1 was to dribble right away, I want player 4 to go and direct player 1 towards that sideline, and I want player 2 to come in behind him and try to pick off the ball from when he is dribbling it. Keeping in mind that when you're running this defense, it's going to take a lot of effort. So if your players are not athletically gifted enough to run a ton, this defense might not be for you. But again, let's get down to the clipboard and you can see the rest of this defense. Now, essentially what we're hoping for is this to kill the play. We want it to be dead right away, and if you are able to become successful at doing so, you can create a ton of turnovers. Now, if, for example, we have player 5, blue, running down to try to get to this open space, what I want to see happen is player 5, to follow him down. I want player 3 to still be shadowing whatever player is over here, but I want him covering the middle. The reason for that is if these 2 players on ball are tight enough, he is not going to have the ability to pass over to player 4. So I really don't have to care about him. With these players covered here, we now have the ability to hopefully have just the whistle blown to the fact that he hasn't gotten past half court yet. We have one-on-one coverage here. We have player 3 covering the mid pass, but still staying one-on-one with player 2 blue. We have player 5 blue being covered by 5 red. 4 is saying, yo, pass me the ball, but he is definitely not going to be getting the ball if there's a double team on the ball. So at this point, the play is dead. Now, if, for example, they did get the ball over to player 2, this is kind of a worst case scenario. You don't want that to happen because that's a quick pass to player 4. Player 5 needs to be getting back at in that case. If the ball was to get to player 5, what I want to see happen is player 5 to be defending him, pushing him towards this sideline. If you don't already know, in a full court defense, we want to trap the player in these corners, mainly because obviously he can't go out of bounds. He then also cannot go back over half, or else it's an over and back call. And if you can get 2 players to trap him in that corner, there is absolutely nowhere for him to go. So what we're going to have now is, if player 5 was to get the ball, of course, that's a possible easy pass. I want player 3 now to be taking player 5's zone. Now player 5 is essentially covering that middle zone. We now want player 4 to either drop off and guard the middle, or what I would actually prefer if player 5 was to get the ball is for player 1 to cover the middle. Now, what I want to see happen is player 2 to run up and help force that player towards the sideline. Even though player 4 might have been the better option because he's closer, what I'm worried about is if there's passes going up the middle, if player 4 was to leave his man and player 2 was behind player 1, we now have player 1 who is able to go up that free, easy, quick space, and he may be able to get the ball advanced far enough. With player 4 staying in front of him and player 2 taking that spot, we now have that mid pass taken away. We have the swing pass taken away. We have the mid pass taken away. Again, the only place for him to go is towards that sideline. And that is essentially how this press works. It is a fantastic press to use. Now, even if they try to overload the inbound, so there's a 3-line press break that you can run to try and beat this press. Now, when you try to run this, sure, that's a quick, easy pass here. We don't really necessarily need to worry about player 2, but player 1 is a considerable worry. I would actually have player 4 playing on this side. Player 5, again, playing just a bit to the side, this side, the ball side of center. And then we would have player 3 dropping back just a bit. Again, player 1 shadowing player 3. And we're going to be having player 2 taking away any passes coming to that side. If player 3 was to switch sides, we would again just go like so. However, what we're looking to do here is if the ball was to get in towards the middle, it's not going to go to the sides. Player 3 is there. It's not going to go to this side. The only real inbounds area is the middle. If the ball was to go towards the middle or even up close, what's going to happen is this will be a double team. And now what I want to see happen is if player 3 was to drop in, I still want single coverage, or at least I would like double coverage here. But again, now we need player 2. If this pass is way too close, we need player 2 to come in to take away that mid-court pass. So we don't want to drop pass back to 3. That's what player 1 is there for. So now, if you're lucky, you can actually force player 1 into this corner. And if that's the case, you now have the inability for that player to go absolutely anywhere, and that's what you're hoping for. So how we did that was if player 1 or anybody gets the pass close to the baseline, they get the pass close to the baseline, I want player 1 to shadow the inbounds player so that he is unable to get that reverse pass. I want player 3 to be guarding player 1 right on and forcing him towards the sideline. player 3 pops in because player 1 is there. He's unable to get that ball around. And now we can have these two players forcing player 1 towards the sideline and the baseline corner. And this is really going to be successful for your team. But again, this is a defense that takes a lot of athleticism. So if your team doesn't have that, of course, this is going to be a harder defense for you to run. But again, very successful at the high levels of high school here in Hamilton, Ontario. But also was very successful for the teams that I have coached. I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. Go check out my Unbeatable Basketball Zone Defense book. It's in the link in the description below. You're going to love it. And I'll see you guys again later on for the second video of the day.